Without further ado, let's bring up our first guest. As I said, they're a nonprofit Mason writing organization. Let's give it up for some of the fellas in the Widow Sons. Danny boy, what's going on? How you doing, pal? What's doing, buddy? Give yourselves a clip. So what's going on, Danny?
All good, John.
My
All
man.
good. I'm glad you have us on. We could talk about a charity drive that we have going on right now.
This
and
is a
little
long
bit about
time
our
coming.
organization.
Yeah, so talk about it.
So the Widow Sons is a Masonic writing association. We've been around for over 20 years. We're presently in 46 states, Puerto Rico, and moving in on 60 countries now. So we're a worldwide organization. We're all made up of Freemasons. You have to be a Mason to be a widow's son. And as many know, Freemasonry was started hundreds and hundreds of years ago. We are the oldest and largest fraternal organization in the world. And everyone that's a widow's son, like I said, is you have to be a Freemason first to become a widow's son. And we're made up of Freemasons that love motorcycling and love to raise money for different charities. And our chapter here in the city, Staten Island and Brooklyn and stuff, we started going on 10 years ago. The organization itself was started over 20 years ago and spread out, growing every day, and do a lot of good stuff and a lot of grassroots stuff and a lot of stuff that we do internationally as well, charity. And here to talk to Johnny tonight and get a little exposure on what our latest charity drive is all about. And it's something very near and dear to us and to the community in Staten Island and Brooklyn as well.
Now, Danny, I know you a long time. Me and Danny, before we go any further, I know Danny since I'm 8 years old from Brooklyn. We grew up together, and we've stayed friends forever. He's one of my best friends, and Danny's such a likable guy. He's a real American. He probably has about 100 best friends, but you're one of my best friends, and I love you. You know
I
that.
feel the same way, Pop.
And I just started getting educated with everything you were doing. There's different logos with what you have,
right,
and then the old.
Well,
Explain that to us.
There's 3 different center patches of on our back of our vest. One is the widow Elvira. Some states have that as their center patch. Wear the wings in the pyramid with the what we call working tools.
Yes.
The Masonic working tools. So, no, you got it out. Pete, why don't you get up and show the back of the vest so the audience sees the back of the vest. So that's what the back of our vests look like. And since we're the chapter here in New York City, we're the only ones that have this patch here, and it's a 9/11 memorial patch. Right. And it's part of what they call the set that we have.
So that's yours personally?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because I read up a lot. There's a lot of different things, and what you guys do is a whole different thing. And what's the old thing is with the C and I, the eye of the Providence back in the day? Wasn't that in a patch too?
All C and I. So it dates back very far. I mean I don't remember what years, but
years
and years ago. It dates back
thousands of years.
Yes, actually thousands of years,
yes.
And it came from the West Coast, back in Egypt and all that. So it was just all seeing everything around them, making sure all the Masons were always looked after. Can't get too much into it. If you want to know more, you got a petition.
There's just too much history of it.
There's tons of history. I mean, a lot of it's good. Most of it's good. There's some bad publicity, but that's just people that.
But for what you guys are doing, you're pretty much like technically all retired, whatever you are.
I think almost just about maybe 1 or 2 of us in our chapter are still working.
Okay.
Like we do have Some guys retire from one life,
And they go to another.
and they do another
Yeah, I
life,
got you.
and they got to keep working. Otherwise, they got to stay home with the wife. But
I hear you.
sorry, honey. But what we're driven to do, the Widow's Sons itself, is charity. Every Widow's Son chapter, and there's many, like I said, 46 states, Puerto Rico, different countries all over the world. I mean, it's cool when we travel and we, go different countries.
That was going to be my next
yeah,
question.
I've been to South
everywhere.
America. Yeah, I've been Mexico, Brazil, Europe, Puerto Rico.
Now, what do you
Couple
do
of
with
weeks
the
in the
bikes?
Philippines.
You get bikes when you're
Well,
down there?
that's when there's chapters in different places.
And they lend you bikes? How does that work?
Yeah, they'll set you up
That's
with
cool.
motorcycles when you get there. Some guys, listen, we have people staying over our houses that, we just had last month 2 guys from the Philippines. They stayed with me. Guys come and go and from all over the world, South Africa, all over Europe. And all the chapters the same thing. We're charity driven, right? So, like I said, we're just shy of 10 years, this chapter, when we started it. And we've raised a lot of money for Shriners, St. Jude's, Ronald McDonald. And we did a lot of different charities.
Yeah.
And those are all great organizations. They do wonderful work. The Shriners, again, Masonic, it's phenomenal. But we were a little fish in a big ocean there. And we wanted to do something more close to home.
Of course.
And that'll matter more for our community.
Oh,
even though, don't get me wrong, like we drive once a year down to the Shriners and give a nice check to them. It's heartfelt, absolutely, and we would continue to do that. But, about 3 years ago, something close to home came up, and that was the Staten Island Hospital Pediatric Oncology Center that's going to be built. And how we got involved with that is every Christmas time, just like we do food drives around Thanksgiving every year, our chapter, and give it to people that ain't as fortunate as us, we go and give toys to, the kids in the hospital, in the pediatric unit. So about 3 years ago, some of the people that run their public affairs in the hospital, Jamie being one of them, Jamie Machia, and I forget his name now. I'm a little shy. I don't know if you can figure that out.
It happens when the lights go on.
But they called up and they said, thank you so much for the toys again and everything, and they wanted to know more about the organization. And we told them, and they said, well, why don't you come down and let us give you a tour of what's going on here.
Yeah.
So we went down to the hospital, and they told us about by 2023 they're going to start the first dedicated just to pediatric oncology center here for us. Now do kids get treated in local hospitals and go get their chemo? Yeah, they do. But it's broke our hearts when we went there.
Yeah, no kidding.
They took us in there, and here we got little squirts, 5, 6-year-old kids sitting in a chair getting chemo next to somebody that's 60, 70 years old.
Yeah.
That in itself,
Breaks your heart.
that breaks your heart. And then they told us about that they're going to be breaking ground and they're going to be making a center it'll open up by 2023. And we jumped right in. But this is going to be strictly, that pediatric oncology center is going to be strictly for kids. So they only get treated with other kids around them. They have toy room, the atmosphere.
Right.
And like
It is. It's supposed to be more catered towards the kids so that they have a great feeling to be inside the room with all the toys and the other kids and not be in part of the hospital with all the hustle and bustle going on. And they're trying to get the tempo, an upbeat tempo in there, and everybody's going to be catering to the kids in there. That's what it's about.
You see the commercials all the time with the kids, but until you're in front of it and you see it, I witness it. At times, people in my family, and you're sitting there, and the kid's saying like, "Daddy, I don't want to get chemo. Daddy, please," and he's crying, and like kills you.
It breaks your heart.
It's like the commercial's one thing, but when you're right there and you see it,
Well, a lot of these kids too, they have to travel far. So the idea of being on Staten Island is they'd be close to home. So there's always one parent with them and they're away from the home. So now they can have the parent come with them, be close to home, and still.
And get home and go home to their own bed.
Right.
Where a lot of times if they go to somewhere else, they have, that's why how like Ronald McDonald House started, so the families could stay while the kid gets treatment. God forbid your kid is sick, that's enough of a task and heartbreak to deal with. It'd be nice to go back home. After your treatment, you take the kid home, he's in his bedroom around the people that know him and he's comfortable. So we're really behind this, 100%. We've done numerous raffles. You've been to our events before.
Well, I'm going to be going to more. I just really started going to. But let's give these guys a hand for caring, right?
The other corner right here, Dan. I think I have it right here.
I got a different picture. I don't know if we
Show, you got to show them that one in a minute. Let me see. Gotta let him zoom in on that.
You know, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say, but we pledged $50,000, and we're like 90% there. So this is, you know, one of the fundraisers that we're going to be doing, and we would love to have some bowlers come out on September 10th at Rab's Bowling Alley on Highland Boulevard.
This would be great. Again, September 10th, Rab's Lane.
And that $10,000 check you were donating is great.
Come, you bowl, you know, you give back to the kids. And what, you know, we're a legit 501c3 recognized. We make nothing.
Nothing.
Like a lot of places, and I won't get into names, you get, for every dollar you give, 50 cents of it goes towards overhead. We have no overhead. We have our meetings in Pete's garage. You know, when we go out to sit down and have a meeting, we buy the food. We don't take it from. So every nickel we get in goes towards the kids.
And that's big because a lot of places, as you said, excuse me to interrupt you, we can't mention names because forget about it. But people take out the money out of the budgets for everything, for dinner,
parties,
this,
we don't do
that.
Nope. We pay our own way. And to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of wonderful people in Brooklyn and Staten Island and in the city here that have donated a lot of money to this cause. You know, they could make, you know, we'll hustle to give them $50,000 in a donation. So there's a lot of rich people out there that will just give that in a one-shot check, and they do. And what matters, you know, we want you help. You got to help us help them. Most people, middle-class people, regular people, you can't afford to give that money.
No
but
way.
if you come to, say, a bowl-a-thon and you spend $30, $40, $50, or you buy a raffle, like we raffled away trips, you know, whatever it is, like that we have going. We have good raffles. If you buy a $5 or a $10 raffle, that, you know, that $10 may be your lunch money that day, but that's a sacrifice to you just as much as somebody that's got millions that writes out a check for $100,000.
Yeah.
So we do what we do to make regular people like us.
Yeah, grassroots. Yeah.
Yep, we raffled off a motorcycle, like you said. We raffled off a trip.
Brand new Harley motorcycle.
You guys get a lot of people that support you,
Yeah,
and
we
then
do.
they give to the cause.
Yeah, we
and
do.
then that's
great.
one hand washes the other.
Well, they know 100% of it is going to charity.
Yeah.
Like you said, nobody's here is going out to dinner or anything. Not being, no pockets are being lined.
I can't even get them to pay for dinner, so I get stuff at the door.
We eat big, so that's why we need to pay for ourselves.
We're going to concentrate for now on the Staten Island Pediatric Cancer Center.
And we need it.
Yeah, we need it here badly. The island, we all know, is growing
too much
rapidly. If you don't think so, get on the Staten Island Expressway, and you'll know what we're talking about right away.
Just being in Jersey for the weekends and coming back here, I get road rage, and it's like I was so used to the traffic on Staten Island. But then you really realize how many people.
You never drove too good anyway.
Me, no, he's that's for sure. I calmed down through the years, but yeah. What was I going to say? With the Sloan Kettering in the city is overpacked.
Yeah.
There's people in halls,
Right.
Not
And
even just
phenomenal.
the waiting rooms.
They're great.
They're all great, yeah.
Sloan is.
But they're
cream of the crop.
overwhelmed.
And again, a kid has got the mother and father would have to battle traffic to get to Sloan.
Yeah.
Find the parking, hook the parking up, take the kid in, get the treatment, battle that traffic back. Something right here for us, for the people of Brooklyn and Staten Island to get there and get home that day and take that little extra stress out of those little bodies. Who could want more? We need this. We got to get behind this.
This one can lead to another, lead to another, lead to another, and that's what the goal is, I gather.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So now that picture that's in your pocket, why don't you tell people about that? Camera, focus in on this over here. Danny can tell you the story.
So the kid with this kid, that's him. I was always bigger and better looking. Right? And that's his little brother.
That's
and
Joey.
2 other guys, kids that lived on the block, Tommy and Nicky.
And there's
but
Danny.
Anyway, that day, ironically, the first charity event that I've ever partaken in was set up by a wonderful man, his father, God rest his soul.
That's it, right? Mr. P.
Mr. P. God rest his soul. Fireman, hero in his own right.
Thank you.
He was the youngest father on the block, and he got stuck with him as his first one. So Mr. P put together. It was
First it was the Ronald McDonald, then we did the Jerry Lewis.
And what we did was we closed the whole street down on the sidewalk, and we made our own rides and all this other stuff and donations. We were hitting cars. So we collected a couple of $100. We were like 10 years old, and that was the first time we did, or I ever did, any type of charity.
So it's in your
thing.
blood.
Yeah, and
that was
ironically,
a
he's
lot
got
of
us
fun.
here today to try to.
And we're going to
Put
drag
it
you
forward.
in now, too.
Yeah.
Listen, I would love to. Now I wanted to ask you this, just as a guess. Like, what if somebody in the audience or somebody sees this on TV and they want to join you guys? I mean, what's the initiation? Is it like the Little Rascals Club where is it the mob? Like you gotta whack somebody? How does it work?
No
It's
whacking.
nothing like the mob at all.
Do you gotta rob somebody? No, I'm just
They have
teasing
to
you.
ask
No,
Mason
so-
for a petition.
Yeah, you would have to ask one to be one.
Okay.
That's number
And what's
one.
the initiation?
You have to be to be part of the Widow's Sons. You have to be a Mason first.
Okay.
You have to be a Mason. If you're not a Mason,
That would be first step to become a Mason.
What about a plasterer?
Who was that, DC-9?
262.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're going to have to work on that.
Teasing you.
Yeah, no. But, yeah, first you start off being a Freemason. Then from there you can, ask.
You can join different
You can join
component
different bodies of.
It's almost like the Sons of Anarchy, but in charity, right? Teasing
Nothing
you.
like that.
I know. We're just teasing.
but yeah, you got to be a Mason first, and then. But guys that aren't Widow's Sons, they ride with us. We go to different rides. A lot of great motorcycle organizations in the city here in Staten Island and Brooklyn, Jersey. They have rides. They sponsor rides for a different charity. And you don't have to be part of any, either like we're a riding association or a motorcycle club, or you could just go, and there's a lot of people every weekend get on a motorcycle. Watch those people out on the bikes, folks. Please. Yeah. It is a big difference. I went through 40 states here on a motorcycle, and you go to some states, and everybody really watches and is really courteous to motorcycle riders. Then you come back here, and I'm on the BQE, and I feel like Mad Max,
Besides avoiding the potholes and the craters, you got to avoid trucks, buses.
People are crazy. They don't care.
If you see traffic backed up, and then you're sitting there and you're cursing, and you see like 500 motorcycles roar by, I'm sure people have been there, realize that when they're done, they just raised thousands of dollars for veterans, for cancer things, for good causes.
Right. Yep.
So have a little patience. I just wanted to get that in there too. They can't all be joking with this guy.
That's awesome. Yeah. I got a good idea that could bring a little more of a draw, as long as I have enough to notice. And I know a lot of the big guests that I get, like Vinny Pastore, I know will be into us, and some of these ex-sopranos and freestyle artists. They would love to. They like doing stuff like that, and that'll draw more people in.
Yeah,
We would
we
love
would
to have
love
them.
it. Do it.
I
Do
just
it.
need a one-sheeter, and then I can send it to them,
Yeah, again, we're a 501c3. Whoever needs to see the paperwork, we have it. You can look us up. Please help. I don't
Help
know
us,
any
help the
other way to
children.
say it. Help us help people in need. And that's what we're all about, And as far as the pediatric cancer center oncology center that we're going to have here, I don't even like using that word, but this is something that I pray to God nobody in this room or us ever have
Never has to use
deal with it.
Yeah.
But knowing that, you know, like they have a saying there that it says, basically treat a horrible disease close to home, right? And it's true. Just picture that. How many people don't even want to go and get in a car and deal with the traffic and all the nonsense into Manhattan to Sloan? Imagine now, going there having the anxiety that you're going to get this treatment.
Yeah.
You're driving into Manhattan, bumper to bumper.
And you're a kid.
Then you get done, and you're a kid. You get done. You sit there, you get that horrid poison in you, right? And now you got to sit in that traffic coming home.
Yeah.
Right? Or you got to stay there, not in your bed, not around your little brother, your little sister. We need this, folks, please.
So now listen, where could people find you on the internet if they got to look for you guys? Website, Facebook, Instagram?
We're the Widow Sons Cornerstones. So I have these flyers here. I don't know, I think we have a few. Please, if you know, like the bowl-a-thon is if you can't make it to the bowl-a-thon, but if you see something out there going down, down in time, down the line, please. We're legit. We're 100% legit. Everything goes to these kids. So buy a raffle if you see us, by the hospital standing there and some ugly-looking guy is there trying to sell you that $10 raffle. It's going for a good thing, please. And you win a lot. We raffled off, like he says, $20,000 motorcycle. We raffled it off. If they didn't want the motorcycle, you take the cash value. We just got done with a raffle of Mohawk Village.
Yep, Mohawk Village. Weekend of Mohawk Village.
Weekend. Other things we've raffled off. Good stuff. And we're going to have another raffle coming up soon after we're done with the Polathon. And I'm sure it's going to be something that everybody's interested in. So if you see a guy with a vest like this out there selling those raffles, please.
And we've had the pleasure of going down to the hospital when we donated the check and meet some of the doctors and stuff and actually see the room that the kids get to come into. Like they set up a room with a fire truck and a bunch of toys to really make these kids feel a little bit more like, kind of at home or whatever. So it's really good. It's a very upbeat situation that they got. The doctor and everybody, they all seem excited to really get this thing off and running. I think it's a great thing.
Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for coming and giving me the pleasure talking to you and informing us more what you guys are doing. It's a great thing, and you'll be welcome back on the show in the future. So let's give it up for the Widow Sons. Yeah. Have a seat. Yeah. We got Mike, Pete, and Danny. So we'll be seeing more of them in the future.